Welcome back to my channel YouTube, and if you're new here, please drop a like, drop a subscribe. And because Real Madrid have reached yet another UEFA Champions League final and going for their 15th trophy, which is incredible when you think about it. So on the night they were 1-0 down against Bayern Munich, and a moment of magic from an unlikely source turned the game on its head for Real Madrid. But there was a controversial situation later on that we will dive into. So it was 2-2 going into this leg from the first leg, and pretty much both teams set up exactly the same. Real Madrid set up in their 4-4-2 formation, and Bayern Munich in their 4-2-3-1 formation, with Kane, Sané, Musiala, and Real Madrid had all their big guns out. Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham, Toni Kroos, Tchouaméni. But the difference is Carvajal. And I think he played a major part in this game in both conceding for Real Madrid, but also in Real Madrid's success. What I mean by that is Real Madrid did it slightly different, because with Lucas Vázquez, they had him breaking in the inside channel, where with Carvajal, they had him quite wide. If you look at his average position throughout the entire 90 minutes, it was very much out wide. And I think Real Madrid looked to open up the space, whereas Bayern Munich surprisingly wanted to shut down the space. Because if you remember what we spoke about in the first leg, Bayern Munich set up by having Sané and Musiala in and around Kane. They wanted to almost force it down the centre, whereas the success they got in the second half was using the width and getting around Real Madrid, because Real Madrid defend and they're very compact. They defend the space rather than the man, and Bayern Munich recognised that and used the space around them, and that's what tactic I thought Thomas Tuchel would do coming into this one. However, he set up exactly how he did in the first half of the first game, and I think that was Thomas Tuchel's downfall, because if you look at every one of Bayern Munich's attacks, it was quite clunky. There was no cohesion. It was quite... The effort was there, but there was no real stigma to their attacks. Whereas in the second half of the first game, when they looked to get out wide, looked to get Sané or Musiala or whoever it may be one-on-one, that's when they looked at the most dangerous. And that's what they should have looked to do going into this game, and they just didn't quite do it. And obviously Bayern Munich, as the game went on, players tired. We've seen Musiala come off. We've seen Harry Kane come off. Thomas Tuchel came out after the game and said it was due to injury, so you can't really argue with that if Harry Kane was picking up a knock. He said Musiala was injured coming into this game and he was playing with a knock. So more than likely they already had a plan that he would not play the full 90 minutes. However, I think when you've got a player like Musiala in a semi-final of the Champions League, you cannot take that boy out, because we all know how gifted he is on the ball and what he can do and how dangerous he is just from transitioning defence into attack by taking that man on, taking one of the opposition players out of the game. He's that guy for Bayern Munich, and it just didn't quite look that way. Yes, his dribbles were incredible, but there was no end product. There was nothing there for him to play off, or it just seemed very clunky. And so how it started was Bayern Munich's first goal came from Alphonso Davies. It was a terrific strike. But I think there is only one player to blame in this, and that is Carvajal. I think he was more focused on Musiala's movement than he was Alphonso Davies. And he should have closed down the space on Alphonso Davies a lot sooner. Therefore, he wouldn't have got the strike off. They wouldn't have went 1-0 down. And then Real Madrid came back into it. And we've got to give a special mention to Joselu. What his career has been and where he's come from to come to this moment is beautiful. He started out Real Madrid, went to Hoffenheim, Frankfurt. He had a spell at Hanover before doing it on a cold, windy, wet night in Stoke. And then I think he went to Deportivo La Coruña. He ended up in Newcastle. And then what's interesting is, in his last 2 seasons, one with Alaves, one with Espanyol, he's been relegated in them both. And Real Madrid took a chance on him, decided to get him on loan with an option to buy 1.5 million. And I know he scored a brace tonight, and this is his moment. But let's not forget, he scored 17 goals this season. 17 goals. That's incredible for a player that doesn't play half as much as any other player. Do you know what I mean? He's not a regular starter, and 17 goal return is quite incredible. But let's not forget, in 2022 he actually went to the Champions League final with his dad to support Madrid, and then last night he fired Madrid into the next Champions League final. What a beautiful moment, what a beautiful story, because it just shows that just don't give up. Just don't give up in life. No matter what you do, just don't give up, and you can create moments like that. And that's exactly what Josselu's done. So if you're not happy for Josselu right now, you're a cold-hearted mother. Yes. So you've got to be happy for the lad. But I thought the brilliance in Real Madrid just did what Real Madrid do. They find a way. This is not the first time that they've scored 2 in the last 5 minutes to go through in a Champions League leg. We've seen it against Chelsea. We've seen it against Man City. Now we've seen it against Bayern Munich. They just find a way. They never give up. Now, I always say the best players don't need to impact the game on the ball. What I mean by that is Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr. The world-class players have world-class intelligence, and they manipulate the game even when they're not on the ball. Their movement, Real Madrid's movement to pick teams apart is absolutely exceptional. And if you look at what Rudiger did off from the corner to peel out wide, to cross the ball in, this is centre-back we're talking about. A centre-back to peel out wide, you would, as a centre-back, you would probably think, oh, I'm just going to stand as a lump in the middle of the box because I'm bigger and head a ball. But no, he was clever enough to find the space to whip the ball back in for Josselu to score. That is why he is playing at the top level. And that is why people look a lot on stats and look at how many dribbles they've done, look how many passes they've done. I mean, Toni Kroos completed all of his passes in the first half. Do you know who else did? Pavlicic for Bayern Munich completed all of his passes. But that's not standing out because he wasn't on the winning side. But he was brilliant yesterday in his own way. But what's interesting is he didn't have any key passes. Yes, he kept the ball well, but did he really force Bayern Munich into an attack? Did he really grab the game by his scruff and neck? No, he didn't. That's because he's young, he's still learning. That in-game intelligence is not there. Whereas with Vinicius Jr., with Rodrigo, with Toni Kroos, that in-game intelligence goes a long way, and I think that's how Real Madrid won this game. That is how Real Madrid are picking their moments to win games, because that in-game intelligence, even just by moving 5 yards into space, pulling the defender away, that's where a game can be won and lost, and we've seen that with Real Madrid time and time and time again. But let's talk about Bayern Munich's late on goal. Linesmen these days are taught not to put the flag up unless they're 110% certain. We've seen players five yards offside and the linesman still hasn't put his flag up because he's told not to. And I think the referee actually got caught unaware that the linesman's actually put his flag up, so he must be offside. So I must have to blow the whistle. It's absolutely insane. This referee refereed a World Cup final. This is the top of the top. This is cream of the crop. Now, we've brought VAR in for a reason, for moments like this. The referee, the linesman, should have allowed play to continue, see what happens, and if there is an offside, you pull it back for that offside. Time and time again, we've seen that happen. And then sometimes it's a goal, sometimes it's an offside. But to blow your whistle within 4 or 5 seconds is ludicrous. But there's one thing that people aren't talking about in all this is because the referee blows his whistle, Real Madrid's defenders and goalkeeper stops playing. Who's to say that a defender wouldn't get a block or the goalkeeper wouldn't save the shot if they had carried on playing? But that's not the point. The point is the referee blew his whistle. And for me, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. Absolutely. And it even proves, because the linesman's come out after the game and apologised to De Ligt. What's an apology going to do? You've got to get it right in the moment. If you're unsure, keep your flag down and let VAR deal with it. Because that's what we've seen happen in the Premier League or any other league. So why is it any different in this moment? Now, Thomas Muller, I think Thomas Tuchel actually deserves a lot of credit because of how he handled the situation. He's professional, calm, and situated. Do I think Bayern Munich will appeal? Absolutely not, because it's pointless. Because even if they do appeal, nothing's going to happen. They're not going to replay the game, because if they did that, every single moment like this, they're going to have to stick by what they did this time and replay the game. So it's absolutely pointless Bayern Munich appealing this. And what they're going to do, just suck it up. That's what they've got to do. But for people to say that Harry Kane is the jinx, look across his season. Yes, you can say the Bundesliga title, but Bayern Munich are actually performing better than they did last season when they won the Bundesliga title. It's just because Bayer Leverkusen have been so great. Another thing, when they got knocked out the cup by Saarbrücken, Harry Kane didn't play that game. He could not affect that game. That getting beaten in the cup was not down to Harry Kane. When Harry Kane came off tonight against Real Madrid, Bayern Munich were winning 1-0. He came off, they got beat 2-1. He could not affect that moment. So to call Harry Kane a bottler, to say he's a jinx on trophies, I think it's just a rational thing, because if you actually look at these numbers, what he's produced in his first season in the Bundesliga is quite incredible. So he deserves a lot of respect for that. And for me, at this current moment, he's the best centre forward in the world. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments.